Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I know this video is supposed to come out a while ago. Some of you would say this video is taking 10 years to come out since you've been demanding it for a while, but the truth of the matter is I was supposed to get PS5 and make this video over the Christmas, but due to poor management by my delivery system, the PS5 got misplaced, quote unquote, in transit, and I might have to wait 3 months to get refunded. Generally, all in all, I'll be getting a PS5 if I'm to follow them. I'm to get my money back to purchase a PS5 by May. So yeah, it pretty much demotivated me to make videos, and I'm sorry about that. Also, yeah, for the people that use leaderboards to this date for Matrix, I am on it. I only went on it just for this video. I actually was attacked a while ago by a really retarded player about not being ever being on the boards. I don't know any single player that played for the boards when this skin was out. That can't easily place on the board, especially the ones that played in solo. Because in solo, you could team and do all that, but you still have to go against good players. And I don't know which amount of teaming or boards glitching you had to do to place, but majority most of those clan players who were doing all those bullshit to get on the boards didn't get it through solos when we were playing, because you will still meet me in the lobby, you still meet a ton of players like me in the lobby, and you wouldn't have your bunch of pals or your, no matter how many alt accounts you make, you will still have to go through us. So yeah, I don't know why I had to do it, but for whatever reason, I'm on it now. So yeah, if you guys don't know, I play this game on 110 to 140 ms, which is bad enough to feel the disadvantage when you go against players on decent ping. That's 2-digit pings, but not bad enough for you to gain a latency ping advantage, as it's not high enough. You need to be 250 ms above to really have that latency ping advantage. And also, I'm playing on a PS4 Slim, a Slim, not a Pro, so my FPS is usually below 40. And I feel like I have to reiterate this for the players that don't understand. FPS is a huge factor in gaming, and it makes your reaction times faster. You see more and you react better. So what this translates in this game is, you go against players who are on good ping, on good FPS, they act and move faster than you in theory, and the actions that they are performing on your screen most of the time isn't what's happening in real time. It's almost like a bullet time in some way sometimes, but it's not. Bullet time is way worse. All right, so yeah, even after all that, I'm still on the boards. And fun fact, I only play Clyde throughout this whole boards, this 20 game boards, and I did. If I really wanted an easy time, I'd have played Annie by bullet timing like the whole lobby, or just played Viper by dashing around for easy kills. But I did it with Clyde, and I didn't play in inactive times, if that's what some of you are thinking. My KD isn't maximized out, and any player that plays solos, forgive me, but you did see me on the boards and probably died to me this last couple days. So yeah, there's that. Let's get into the video, guys. Sorry about the little rant. All right, so there's two main settings for your controls. I mean, two main schemes for your controller scheme. On Xbox, you're not gonna have two, it's just gonna be one, since you don't have the motion sensor or the gyro aim. But for the PlayStation and Switch, guys, if you have experience with the gyro aim, I'd advise you to turn it on, which is this button here. It's far better than aiming with the analog stick, at least from the videos I've seen and from the word of mouth from my friends that actually use it. It's way better than aiming with the analog sticks. It's as close to mouse and keyboard as you can get on controllers. So if you're on Switch especially, I know a bunch of games support it. Turn it on if you have experience with it, but if you don't, just leave it off. But if you do have experience with it, turn it on. And for the PlayStation guys, there's not a lot of games that support this. I personally would love to get into gyro aiming, but there's, outside this game, I don't have any other game that supports it, so I just don't use it at all. Alright, so I leave it on default. Gyro aiming speed doesn't matter because it's off for me. Controller aiming speed is 1.6. All right, before we get into the controller aiming speed, I am not on mouse and keyboard, guys. I've had this several times in the comments asking me how I control it. I come from a bunch of shooter games, especially battle royales. I started playing Fortnite a while ago, and I moved to Apex, then to this game. And in all those games, my sensitivity has generally been higher than most. So I do have a very big experience on high sensitivity. So do not use my sensitivity if you don't have experience with really high sense. If you do use it, you're gonna hate me for it. But in the long run, I do feel like high sensitivity is always better, and the higher your sensitivity, and the more used to the higher sensitivity you are, the better you are at the game, because you get to react faster. So use it if you want to be better, but don't blame me for it if you are having a hard time, especially now, which I'll get into shortly. So controller aiming speed is 1.6, aiming mode sensitivity multiplier 0.75, third person view mode sensitivity multiplier 2.3, first person view mode 2.3. So there's a lot of confusion in the community when it comes to ADS and first person view mode. So the thing about this game is they are Russian developers, so sometimes their English doesn't translate as clearly as it should be. So this and this aren't the same, guys. I've been clarifying this for like ages, but for whatever reason the community just keeps coming back into relating them as the same. This and this are not the same. ADS is in first person style, yes, but the sensitivity multiplier there doesn't mean that's what it's doing. The sensitivity multiplier there is only for this, and this is separate. So be sure to vary your ADS multipliers and your first person multipliers, because they are not the same sensitivity. If you think I'm wrong, turn your first person all the way up and leave your ADS wherever it is. You realize it doesn't change. And for most part of this game, most players don't even use first person, so they don't even tell the difference. View mode, vehicle view mode sensitivity multiplier 2. For my dead zones, I just like my left stick on 7% and my right stick on 5%. Again, my sensitivity is generally higher than most, so don't use my sense if you are not good with high sense. Trust me, you're gonna hate me for it. Especially now, like I was saying before, aim assist is the worst thing in this game. I've never played a game with a far worse aim assist than the aim assist we have in this game. I basically don't use it at this point. So for the majority part of this year, for all the games I played a couple days ago for that board placement, I've been playing without aim assist, and it's not a flex, it's just way better. So vibrations off, vibrations in battle also off, aim acceleration 0. All right, so for movement, L, jump. All right, before we get into this pass, well, I'm playing on the button setup that maybe a few of you will be familiar with. It's called bumper jumper tactical flipped. So this is a setup from CRSED and in Apex, where you have your jump on a bumper and your shoots on your triggers. And with tactical flipped, it flips this to make your jump on your triggers and then your shooting on your bumpers. All right, so my jump is on L2, my sprint is on L3 fast press. All right, so for the new players, the conditions here is button setup. This is going to be very key in my setup, because it's going to make one button perform two different actions, and you're going to need it since there's so many actions you need to perform in this game. So when you press your button setup button, it should show these options and follow them exactly as I am mentioning them. Don't skip. If you're going to use my keys, guys, don't skip, just go through the whole thing, and after that then you can decide what you want to mix and match, or whatever you've taken from this entire video. So for my Xbox and PlayStation, guys, I don't want to make this video long, so unless it's specific to your controller, I'm going to be mentioning all the keys in a PlayStation format. Just use the equivalent of your controller and you should be fine. All right, crawl, L3 on hold, crouch, L3 on fast press, vehicle steer, move your left analog stick left and right, vehicle throttle or brake, move your analog stick up and backwards. So what this is mainly for, the advantage of this is to help you move your vehicle without having to pull down your triggers. So in the grand scheme of things, this will help you move your vehicle even when you're using the map as compared to using the triggers. So that's like the main advantage of that. Vehicle throttle R2, the default ones, vehicle brake L2, handbrake X, ship and steer left and right, ship throttle up and down on the left analog stick. You need to move them that way. And ship throttle R2, ship brake or reverse L2, basically the same as the cars. All right, so for weapon, shoot R1, aiming 2 L1, zoom L1 on double tap, breath holding R2. So the thing about the aiming now is, mainly due to those aim assist changes from before, players have had to incorporate a bunch of different ways to shoot. So what this aiming 2 does is to aim down the sight but not zoom into it. So what this means is you can have far much better recoil on your guns, as you would have to, you move less than as compared to when you're all the way zoomed in and you have to move your analog stick more, because with this you only need to move slightly to move like a greater amount to control recoil, but with this you have to move a lot on your analog stick to control recoil. So that's why you see a lot of players use aim 2 now. It's just better than the aim with the zoom, as it allows you to control recoil with far less effort. So I have it on double tap, so I can have my zoom on double tap, so I can have the difference every time I want to zoom in and I want to aim down sight. And then when I want to hold breath, I just hold my R2 instead. Gun reload square, weapon 3 square plus X. So in this game you can map multiple keys, and this is how you do them. Please pay attention here, I wouldn't be repeating this again. You hold down your first button, and whilst you're holding down your first button, you tap your second button. So what this does will allow you to map your multiple keys. So after you're done with that, remember to turn on activate action when any of these buttons is released. What this does is allow you to use it in game without having to use it in the sequence you mapped it. So you can press both of the buttons at the same time without having to hold down the first button and then tap the second one for it to work. So it makes it work simultaneously when they are pressed. So always have that option turned on. Always have this option turned on in your button setup when you use combo keys, that is. So weapon 4 circle fast press, that's your melee weapon. Next main weapon triangle fast press, throwback grenade. All right, so in this setup I'm generally making it for players that want to play default keys without using extra buttons. But full disclosure, I play claw, and this is the only button in this whole setup where you must play claw to use it whilst moving. Without it you won't be able to use it whilst moving, or you must have a extra button to use it whilst moving. That's my throw grenade button. Throwback grenade R1, that's your shoot button. Next grenade X on double tap, change fire mode X on hold, mount weapon R3 on fast press. Now to view, toggle view. So for Xbox you won't, I don't have the keys for I don't know which buttons I can use. I've tried several times to think it over, but I don't know how to make this work for Xbox. It's only for Nintendo Switch and PlayStation that I have the buttons for. So for PlayStation, use your touchpad on fast press, and for view you map your axis first. You go into it, move your right analog stick clockwise or anti-clockwise, and then modify, you tap on your touchpad. So the view here is for your free look, and then toggle view here is to switch from first person to third person, or vice versa. Aiming delta. So if you are using the gyro or the motion sensor aim, this is where you can place modifier on your gyro aim so your gyro aim kicks in whenever the modifier is clicked on. So generally when I experimented with the gyro, I had my motion sensor kicking every time I aim down sight, so I kept my modifier on my aim down sights button. So yeah, if you want to use the gyro and you want to have it controlled and not have it kicking the entire game, place a modifier on it, and it will only work when your modifier button is clicked on. So for leaning, I've had a lot of discussion about this. Currently, it's not that useful right now, especially since you can't cancel it with sprint. So my R button is free right now. I'm hoping for there to be crouch sliding in the future. When that comes, I'm definitely not going to use my lean button on R3. I will change it, and I would update it in my Discord, link in the description when it comes out. I won't make another button setup again, guys. This is my last one. Modifier on R3 axis, move your left analog stick left and right. Remember, always map your axis first. For whatever reason, this game has a bug on it where if you map the modifier before you map the axis, it clears the modifier. So map the axis first and then the modifier second. You go into it, then you move your left analog stick left and right, and that should be it. As you can see, it just cleared it. Sorry. Yeah, so as you can see, the bug just happened. So remember, map your axis first and then your modifier second. Shoulder, so what this does is switch your aim cursor from left and right. It's not very useful in this game since left and right isn't very pronounced in this game enough to have a button for it. But when they do switch, make the cursor more pronounced, I would put a button for it in my Discord. I have one, but currently I don't see the use for it. Vehicle repair square, aiming, move your right analog stick clockwise or anti-clockwise. Look around, you go in the same setup, axis first, modifier next. Switch gun for secondary, switch ammo for secondary gun X, horn L3, next gear R1 on fast press. Previous gear L1 on fast press, neutral gear R1 on hold, automatic transition L1 plus R1. Remember, always take this button to have it work simultaneously. Zoom L1, shoot R1, vehicle seat L3, vehicle seat 2, R3 on both on fast press, vehicle seat 3, left button on fast press, vehicle seat 4, right button on fast press, 5, left button on hold, 6, right button on hold, vehicle 10. This is just a gimmick mainly, but it could help you in some situations. L3 on hold, and take the wheel L3, just the same as C1. So what's the vehicle? So yeah, this basically allows me to switch seats to where I want to be precisely in a car, right? And I get to switch to manual and control it. What I was hoping for this game was every time you're in manual, the vehicle locks your speed at wherever you're going, and whenever you switch seats, you can do something like this, right, while the vehicle is moving. But unfortunately, it doesn't do that. So you can learn the button setup here, but in the long run, it's not going to be worth it because vehicles in this game actually suck. Alright, so for the main part that most of you are here for, recover square, use square on the fast press, push objects, left analog stick up and down. So before, we used to have a good push object where you could actually push objects pretty well, but they claimed it was a bug, and now it's basically meant for pushing boats into the river. So I don't see any reason to have it on any dedicated button other than moving your character. So keep it on left analog stick up and down. Pick up square fast press, pick up and replace square on hold, medkit triangle on hold, drop gun triangle plus circle. Again, take this button, switch boombox on or off. This is a preferential button, but you can use this in combat as I've showed in several of my videos. Square on hold, use spray or gesture L1 on fast press. So this button, currently there's a bug on it. It only works for the animations, it doesn't work for the sprays. So I have it on L1 on fast press just for the gimmick sake. Use character ability L2 plus L2. So I just recently updated my button setup. So if you've noticed, all the videos before this don't use the setup, but in every other video, like in my most recent video, that is, because I have to still go through a bunch of my old videos before my recent video comes out. you see me use this setup, so don't go like, oh, I'm using a whole different setup from what I was using before. That setup is in the Discord, so if you want to see that old one, you could check it out in the Discord. But generally, I have friends complain about the R button being a ability, because let's be honest here, a lot of you have heavy fingers, right? A lot of you will be under pressure and mistakenly press your R3, triggering your ability when you don't want to. So the best case scenario is the L2 plus R2. So yeah, I think this is the best, so I'm just gonna move forward with it from henceforth. Use ability R2 on fast press. Remember, your jump button and your usability button combine to make this button. So if you're going to be using something like the jump ability, right, remember you need to jump. If you're going to be jumping and doing this, remember you have to sequence it. Don't press both at the same time, because you trigger your ability like this. Don't do that. Jump and then you press your second ability button. That's the workaround for it. It's not that difficult. It might take some getting used to, but it's pretty easy. All right, so this is how I use my traps. So for longest time, some people still believe I'm on mouse and keyboard, because I use all my traps without using all my mystic styles without using the pie menu. But this is generally what I use. So these two are your rituals, the draw sign 1 and 2. I've been asking them to rename these, but for other reason it's still this, which leaves a lot of confusion. But generally the community is great, so they usually clarify this for the newer players. So sign 1 and 2 are your rituals. So left D-pad on hold is my first ritual. Right D-pad on hold is my second ritual. Draw sign 3 to 5 are your traps. So trap 1 is up fast press, trap 2 right fast press, and then trap 3 left fast press. So I have my jump trap on my up button, which is very intuitive, because it's up, you just click up and you're going up, right? And my right D-pad for my right draws and right trap, again another intuitive trap. And then my left button for my third trap, which can be your portals or your shield traps. I might make a video on the best traps in this game, I don't know, probably far down along the line when I'm feeling like it. But yeah, these are basically what I use for and this is how I use my rituals too as well. I hold it down, so by the time I look down, it's just doing it almost as quickly as I'm placing down the trap. It's not that difficult. Again, with this setup, you do have to use practice, because practice makes perfect. And once you get used to it, everything is so seamless on this setup. Trust me, it's very easy and makes things a lot better. I'm just an idiot that doesn't take this game serious enough. All right, game menu, options button on hold, map options button on fast press. This is like your start button, guys. Inventory down on hold. So the reason why I have inventory down on hold, I don't see why to have it on a dedicated button, as it's not an action that you performing in the heat of time, especially if you're on controller, because on PC they can decide to keep it on a fast button, because what they have to do is use their mouse and go in and then do stuff like this. I'm doing this with my touchpad, by the way, and I've seen some players say you can't use it. Don't use it, it's a lie. It's not that accurate, and in the heat of battle you're not going to be able to use it that precisely. Use your D-pad for your inventory menu, and that's the way to go by it. So I have my inventory button on down on hold, show pie menu, X plus up fast press. I've already explained how to map keys simultaneously, right? And remember, you take this to make it work in game. Boombox menu, X plus down fast press, quick chat, X plus left D-pad on fast press, hint items for teammates down fast press, spectator L1 fast press previous target, next target R1 fast press, view right analog stick. Alright, so for switch toggle view, minus on fast press, and view minus on hold with your view is just minus, and then your modifier as minus, and then your axis on your right analog stick. Yeah, and I think that's about it, guys. So for Xbox, I'm sorry, these two buttons are the only ones I couldn't crank my head over the past few years without straining you, because so far the only thing you're gonna be forced to use with either an extra button or by playing claw in this setup is this throw grenade button. And maybe because I play claw, right, I have easy access to these buttons when I'm moving. So maybe with these you might have to, with my mystic signs, you might have to use extra buttons as well. But if you're fast enough, right, if you're fast enough on your d-pad, you would never have to think about or worry about using these with an extra button. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.